Once upon a time. For a millennia, these 4 magical words have opened a door to worlds carved by our dreams. With the creak of a wardrobe door, we enter Narnia, a place where animals can speak and an evil witch has made it always winter. With the flip of another page, we tumble down a rabbit hole with Alice into Wonderland, a place curiouser and curiouser, a madly befuddling world that somehow does make sense. And then, we stagger up a smoldering Mount Doom with Frodo, choking on the fumes of Gorgoroth as we bear the burden of the One Ring. Books are time machines and magic carpets. They can whisk us away to Cleopatra's palace, to the future, or even to the time when dinosaurs stomped the earth. They can take us anywhere from Mount Everest to Antarctica, and they can even allow us to speak to the dead. Books are magic. When we read, we translate the words on a black and white page into vibrant, 3-dimensional movies in our mind. The characters become what we make of them, and we experience a story that is inexorably unique to our own imaginations. Why is it so important that we exercise our imaginations? We all know the importance of going to the gym, but do we think of reading as essential to exercising our minds and our creative spirits? In her commencement speech she delivered at Harvard University, J.K. Rowling talked about the importance of imagination, not as the source of what transformed her life, but as the guiding principle that transforms all of us. She said, "Though I personally will defend the value of bedtime stories to my last gasp, I have come to value imagination in a much broader sense. Imagination is not only the uniquely human capacity to envision that which is not, and therefore the fount of all invention and innovation. In its arguably most transformative and revelatory capacity, it is the power that enables us to empathize with humans whose experiences we have never shared. In other words, reading gives us imagination, and imagination allows us to imagine ourselves in situations we have never experienced before. Sadly, as we grow older, we find less and less time to pick up a book and get lost in the awe of its journey. As we grow into our teen years, the pressures of SATs, ACTs, APs, IBs, extracurriculars, service projects, and finally the dreaded college applications engulf us in their vortex. And then, as adults, we are assaulted by an avalanche of student loan debt, utility bills, wailing babies to feed, and a rent or mortgage. I was struck the other day that the word mortgage has the Latin root word for dead in it, and that ought to tell us something. So, our time for reading flies out the window. So how do we find time to read? One solution is to listen to audiobooks. Audiobooks can fill the cracks of time that we would normally waste. You can listen to an audiobook while you're in the car, doing your daily ritual, or even eating. For me, audiobooks are a way to return to those carefree days when my parents used to read me bedtime stories. The best part is you can download audiobooks free to your iPod from your public library website, so there's really no excuse not to. Plus, listening to books on tape helps make reading a habit again, an instant reflex instead of something that we used to do. Another solution is to make reading an anticipated event. I like to map out my week and identify those times that I can get lost in a book. I think it's easy for us teenagers, with all the textbook reading we have to do, to forget to make time for the reading that we actually enjoy. I also like to make choosing my next book a treasure hunt. People have the misconception that you either love reading or you don't. But the truth is, you just need to find the right book. I love Tolkien, but when I picked up the Silmarillion, I knew from the first 3 pages that there was no way I would finish that book. I just couldn't get through it. There's nothing wrong with being bored by a book. Just pick up a different one. Reading not only develops our minds and our spirits, but it gives us the vocabulary that Shakespeare used to weave his words, which has been today reduced to the acronyms of text language, like LOL, TTYL, G2G. Reading fills our minds with new ideas and allows us to travel to places that we otherwise never would have experienced. It allows us to speak with the greatest minds that the world has ever offered. It teaches us the flow of grammar without having to do tedious grammar exercises. Reading is one of my favorite ways to travel. For the price of a book, you can go anywhere, be anything, and experience the wonders of the world. Reading gives us a sense of awe, that the impossible is just around the corner. And this feeling of awe is what connects us to our universe, the best part about being human. In fact, scientists say that when we feel awe, we release the chemical oxytocin, the same chemical that's released when a person is lovingly touched or a mother nurses her baby. We need awe in our lives, especially now, with all the troubles in the world. To me, opening a book is like gazing at the stars, thinking about the endless possibilities. Of course, it's easy after a long day of work to sit down and watch TV or a movie. But in doing so, you're letting someone else dictate your reality. In contrast, reading is a partnership between you and the author, one in which you get to create a world with your mind. As you sit in the couch or in the theater, all you're doing is passively ingesting someone else's version of events. This passive watching is what kills creativity, the very best part about being human. We as a species are different from all other animals. We do more than just survive. We fly to the moon. Speaking of the moon, I'm really excited about the book review website I'm about to launch, Moonman Reviews. I decided to create Moonman book reviews when I realized that I never wanted to leave behind the adventures of my childhood literature, and that I also wanted to inspire other young people like you to love reading as much as I do. As I saw bookstores teeter on the edge of bankruptcy, I was struck by an overwhelming fear that one day kids wouldn't read or buy books at all, that the colorful section of Barnes & Noble would disappear into a cold, technical experience like Amazon.com, and that the whole adventure of finding the right book to call your own would be lost. And so, the website I'm creating is beautiful, part of it in the style of medieval illuminated manuscript, and part of it creatively sketched. The site is whimsical and childlike, a visual collaboration of concepts from all sorts of children's novels. Since the site is by kids for kids, it's a place that young people can come to get reliable peer advice on what's cool in the book world. They can write reviews, star on the website, and even win contests. It's in progress now, and I can't wait to see what it's going to become. In Sir Terry Pratchett's novel, Hogfather, Death has a conversation with his granddaughter about the importance of make-believe. He tells her that humans need fantasy to be human, to be the place where the falling angel meets the rising ape. Sound.
Sun would not have risen.
Then what would have happened?
A mere ball of flaming gas would have illuminated the world.
All right, I'm not stupid. You're saying that humans need fantasies to make life bearable?
No. Humans need fantasy to be human. To be the place where the falling angel meets the rising ape.
With tooth fairies, hogfathers.
Yes. As practice, you have to start out learning to believe the little lies.
So we can believe the big ones?
Yes. Justice, mercy, duty, that sort of thing.
They're not the same at all.
You think so? Then take the universe and grind it down to the finest powder and sieve it through the finest sieve, and then show me one atom of justice, one molecule of mercy. And yet, you try to act as if there is some ideal order in the world, as if there is some rightness in the universe by which it may be judged.
But people have got to believe that. What's the point?
You need to believe in things that aren't true. How else can they become?
We need to believe in things that aren't true to make them a reality. Reading helps us make this link. There is no greater journey upon which we can embark. Thank you.